Marianne is basically about a guy who comes back to his family after having been absent for 10 years with another woman. So he comes back because he sees that his daughter is kind of messed up. 6 months later, his wife dies, and he's stuck there basically with 2 daughters, and he doesn't really know what to do with it, and suddenly he's being haunted by a ghost. The story basically is very autobiographical. For me, it takes place in a small town where I live, where I grew up. It's only about 50,000 people, and it's very isolated. It takes like 2 hours to drive to the next city, and that's also a small town basically. So the house that these characters live in, it's located like 2 blocks away from the house where I grew up, and it's that suburb, and it's all shot on location. So you can follow this family living there, and you can basically follow the events on a map, and you can see that when she gets out in the middle of the night and she takes her bike and rides down to the lake, that's actually, in real life, that's a 9-minute bike ride. So it's not like we're cheating in any way. It's shot in a very matter-of-factly documentary kind of way. So that's important to the story, and all the events in the story kind of relates in a metaphorical sense, I guess, to events that happened to not only to me but like to the people that I knew growing up there. So it's about the people who live in this town basically. It's a modern reinterpretation of what is known as the mare, which is a Swedish folklore creature, and and that creature is all about sleep paralysis. You wake up in the middle of the night, you can't move, so you feel like someone is watching you, and it's like a really scary thing to encounter. And a lot of people experience this. 60% of the population experience this. So I basically took that and took what makes this story work. It's I wanted to have a haunting, but I wanted to have a haunting in the internal sense of the word. Like he does something and he's haunted by regrets, which turns into guilt, which kind of spirals into this nightmare for him. So that's kind of where it all comes from.
The mother, the grandmother figure. Is that a special character too, or how did you see her? Of course. She's played actually by a friend of mine who was a very good friend of my mother's. My mother passed away while I was writing the screenplay, so that played in, and that's where I really wanted her in the story as well, because like I said, it's a personal story for me, so she's not really an actress, but she's very natural, and also because this area is very special in the way that it's, well, the dialect and everything is very special, and the way people are is kind of special. That's why it had to be shot there as well. I needed someone who was like genuinely from that place and had a connection to it, and so that's, yes, she's like important, obviously, and that character. I mean, the reason I put that character there in the first place, I don't want to give any spoilers, but it's like after what happens in the movie, I kind of needed something to lighten it up, kind of, so that that things might be okay after all in the end, but it needed something like that.